Life itself. Everybody should already have some level of understanding and awareness of it out there without me sitting here explaining it. It is basically the underlying foundational process of everything. The animator of the process at all, so to speak. What is the process that is happening? Looking out my window right now. All the trees, the greenery, the grass, everything, the sky, everything going on. What is it all here for? Life. It's all here from and for life. Everything after that is literally after that. I didn't create life, even my own life. The essence of life that allows me to even exist as I am. That was before me, that animated me, that made me, etc., whichever way you want to put it. And yet, it is secondary at best for this entire circus, which however you want to put it. Societies, cultures, whatever. Every construct of human creation, societal construct, however you want to put it. Why is it all, like, again, why it's put secondary at best? How is the majority, just to use a generalized, simplified word, ignorant that life is the foundation? How is that ignorance? How is that ignorant so much out there? Where, okay, so I'll get to the why it's ignorant. I'll get to the disruptions of life. We all know them. Everybody choosing, as one example, anybody that chooses physicality over life, whether it be pleasure or pleasure in some way. Again, what happens to, I don't want to say examples and freaking, again, like what people do, like say, what people do to get physical enjoyment from another without their consent, in the process of harm, etc., and all that bit. Again, like harming somebody to please yourself, basically. Harming or disrupting anyone else unjust in any way to appease or please yourself. Be that, again, I hate this social media crack. It's like, I'm trying to think, what could I actually say directly without flagging anything? Everybody already knows the horrors. Everybody does. Without me naming everything. Like, again, like abductions, that three-letter word, sex, slavery, stuff like that. Even down to things like the old A&E women's shows my mom used to watch back in the 80s and 90s, like a wife doing harm to her spouse to collect insurance money. And it's like you're extinguishing actual life for money, for pleasure, for societal and circus nonsense. Again, a clear example of life being put secondary at best. Where even the leaders of the world, leaders of everything out there, wars, chaos, conflict, over what? Nonsense. Circus bullshit. Your little societal constructs, cultural constructs, your own ignorant, unaware limitations. Where basically every wrongdoing, even at the biggest picture by the leaders, what follows? Excuses. There are zero excuses for the deliberate and intentional disruption of life. That means any and every excuse that is given is already wrong regarding life. Why? Okay. You take one of the global reasons, terrorism, and there's the excuse to go mass ceasing of life. Can somebody think for a moment about that, please? Could somebody actually try to at least think up here? Because too many are ignorant of here. Ceasing of life. Proclaiming and that you are protecting life. Oxymoron, negative, absence of life, disruption of life. That's what it is. It is two negatives, two negative processes, and what happens when that's the only thing done? Those processes continue. Negativity upon negativity, disruption upon disruption, ceasing of life upon ceasing of life. Does it produce anything positive? No, it only produces itself. Every excuse is everybody's own individual ignorance, whether it be authentic ignorance or just delusion, whatever. I'm no judge or jury. I'm just speaking, expressing from me here. Again, yeah, that's all I'm doing. Expressing me, my words, from me, mine alone. That's it. I'm not asking for anybody's anything. It's just, I'm speaking and that's it. Whatever comes of it, comes of it. But again, I've been, like, again, a negative for a negative. Revenge. That's another simple one. I've already been there. For decades, that was one primary thing. Because I don't know about how aware others are. I've been aware of life my whole life. And just sadly, the disruption of it. But aware and observant of what was absent and what should be present I've already been through the whole revenge bit. Again, somebody does you wrong and you want to justify it. Again, somebody did me wrong. Again, and I've even gone so far, like, one example, getting unofficially, well, just getting, I'm not going to get into personal stuff. Somebody forcing something on me unjustifiably, a situation I was forced to handle that was unjust, undeserving. And what was my response after I was absent and no longer present around that person? I would state that when they passed, I would literally celebrate and dance because there is one less negative influence on the world. Think about that for a moment. What is that? Again, two negatives. Does that make a positive? No. It only continues itself, the negativity. It doesn't matter what you put on it, make it look like how you say it, it doesn't matter. Negativity for a negativity, disruption for a disruption, only gives more of itself, more disruption, more negativity. So while you're extinguishing life and saying it's to protect or any excuse for life, doesn't work like that. That is just disruption with excuses. Like, you don't have to extinguish life that is being disrupted or disruptive to cease the disruption. What do? Add life, educate, information, etc. of life. Why do people disrupt life? How? Because they are ignorant and unaware of it. It's as simple as that. If somebody knows life itself is above all, even themselves, because again, in the absence of everything, life is the only thing that will remain. The only thing that remained for me. I don't understand how so much of humanity is so ignorant and unaware. Too busy playing in this circus where life is disrupted so much for such stupid nonsense. Money, status, fame, pleasure, power, authority. It's a fool's game, and you're all fool, and everyone playing it's a fool. I'm not condemning everyone. Again, authenticity gets a pass on its own because it is authentic. Just plain wickedness and cruelty and evil things, people, etc. They are that they are, and they are stupid, but they are all information on life. The disruption of life is information. If you invert it, it is the information on its presence. How do you even know when something is negative, disruptive, absence of life? To even know it's that, you have to also be aware of its opposite, or else it would just be normality. How do you know something is disruptive if you don't know its opposite? Everything would, I mean, the whole thing would just look like, would just look neutral. Normality or neutrality, however you want to call it. And yet, the only thing really taught out there is the circus. Everything, primarily, it's all just for the show. Why? No offense, and I am sorry for everybody. Sorry for anyone that's ignorant, but life, the presence of life, is far more than anything all of humanity can create. Because humanity is a product of life. So what's first, humanity or life? Obviously life. So why does humanity put that secondary at best? All the way to the top of this stupid circus. And again, I'm not condemning anyone who enjoys authentically and however the world is functioning, any of it. It's like you find your authentic place that you're content with, good for you, man. Any of you. As long as it's not disruption. Me? Well, basically, most people spend their life playing the social game, functioning, and all that bit. You know, how to fit in, how to, operate in society and all that, and your singular function to do every day like a robot, whether you're authentically content or not. I've never lived that way. I've always been discouraged and disrupted by that. I'm not saying I don't function normally in society. I do, just not. That's not my primary orientation. That's not even secondary at best. Because simply I've spent my life observing, analyzing life and all else I can, not finding my place in all this nonsense. How can you find your place if you don't find yourself regarding life first? Then it's just performance. How could such life it's beyond explanation, expression, words. It's beyond anything I can physically express in any way, shape, or form. And yet, why is so much of everything so ignorant? And it's all there to observe. And everybody puts a price tag on it.